Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
I'm Nathan.
And I'm McCayla.
Welcome to episode 231 of Adventures and Mousecapades. This week, we are welcoming back McCayla, former PlanDisney panelist and seasoned Disneyland expert, who decided to celebrate her PlanDisney graduation with a quick trip to Walt Disney World with her two kiddos who have never been to the Orlando parks before. Because nothing says thank you like 4 parks, a massive property, and discovering in real time which plans were brilliant and which ones the Disney Tiki Room gods immediately laughed at.
Well, welcome to the 5-Timers Club, McCayla. Though, just remember, by DCL rules, you're not gold until after the completion of this recording session. So,
Got it. I will stay till the end.
Yeah. It's so great to have you back.
Oh, it's so great to be back, you guys. I love time with you. I love chatting about all our favorite things. This is so great. I'm so honored to be back. Thank you.
So for our listeners who may be newer, remind us who you are and kind of your Disney background. I know you were a former PlanDisney panelist in 2025. And like, how has that influenced your level of Disney experience and travel and all the rest of that stuff?
Yeah, well, I've known you guys for a very, very long time. We're friends outside of, okay.
We won't do the math on that.
Math doesn't bother me.
I thought you said we're not going to include that.
No, I just don't want to think about how many years that is because it's many.
It has been many, many years.
It's been a while. Pre-kids.
But that's really, I think, why I'm mostly here, I think, is because we're friends.
Absolutely.
And then our Venn diagrams sort of mixed with this Disney stuff in our interests. And when I took my family to Disneyland for the first time in 2019 is when sort of my enchantment with Disneyland and all things Disney sort of blossomed. So since then, been chatting about Disneyland to whoever will listen. And then that sort of turned into an Instagram account, the Mickey Mouse Club, where I get to chat about Disneyland more and get to know more friends in that corner pocket of the internet. And then that sort of turned into PlanDisney, which actually was not really my Instagram, but was actually you guys on an episode. I think it was the first episode, and I don't even know if it was recorded or if we had just talked about it offline before the recording, but you guys mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, maybe. So I have you guys to blame for that.
Sorry.
Thank. But yeah, that was an incredible experience. That was 2025. Met some of my besties. Really great community, loved my time, learned so much. And yeah, like you mentioned, Alicia, that being a part of the panel, my compensation was a reward trip with my family. So we went to Walt Disney World, and I had been a few times, and my husband and I had gone to Disney World together right after we were first married. But this was our first time as a family. So it was a whole new adventure, a whole new world. And it felt similar to when we went to Tokyo Disney Resort last year, where it felt familiar, but wasn't. It was new. It was brand new. So that was fun and exciting, but also a little bit like off-putting, like, I thought I would know more than this. But yeah, really fun, really special. I can't wait to talk about it with you guys.
So did you choose Disney World, or did the PlanDisney gods choose it for you?
Well, in my particular contract, I was able to pick Disneyland or Disney World.
Okay.
So your reward is based upon your specialty. So because I was a Disneyland specialist, and this just happened to be that contract, it could change. Just speaking from my experience, that I could choose from Disneyland and Disney World. And since we had never been to Disney World. It felt like, let's try that. That sounds fun. So we chose it, but also that's what our choice was, that or Disneyland.
So where did you stay in Disney? I'm assuming obviously you're going to be on property since this was a hosted kind of thing.
Yeah. So we actually stayed one night at the Animal Kingdom Lodge on our own, which we ended up renting DVC points from Pixie Points gals, and it was like that resort was dreamy. It was so relaxing and quiet and sweet and beautiful, and the food was so good. So we were there one night before we started the hosted portion, which was at Beach Club. So Beach Club was where we were for 5 nights, which at first I was like, oh, I don't know. I kind of wanted like the Polynesian or like, I actually didn't really know that much about all the different resorts. I only really knew about the Polynesian.
Right.
But then being at the Beach Club actually was the best for our family because Epcot is our favorite and the thing that the boys were most looking forward to.
Yeah.
And what my husband and I love Epcot. And it's just like right there. I mean, it's like whoop, 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 and you're right in there. So that was super convenient. And the pool there was amazing. Yeah, it felt like a mini water park. And our boys love a pool. So it made sense. And it was great for us. So
remind me how old the boys are now.
Yeah, great question. All your questions are great, but
wow.
We have an almost 12-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Okay.
It was actually, this was just so magical because I'm one of those people who plan my vacations like out a long ways. Like I kind of think, okay, the boys are going to be this age and around that age, it would be really cool to go So like 4 years ago, I was like, spring break of 2026 would be so great to go to Disney World because I wanted to go in spring break and just like their ages. And I was like, how magical is that? That lined up where I could take my reward trip on the year that we had planned to go to Disney World for the first time as a family. So they're great ages for it, I thought.
10 and 12 are kind of great ages for any park almost.
Yeah.
Like
it's before they get jaded. No.
Right.
And it gets boring.
It gets boring.
No. No one would say that. I feel like they can walk on their own. They can get through a day. They can handle themselves for the most part. They can ride any ride that they would want to. Like they can have opinions about what they want to do. Like, the ages were great.
Yeah.
For Disney World because it's so huge.
It is.
Yes. Well, and you and John can like do something and chillax that you don't really necessarily want to do a ride with the kids, and the kids can go do a ride if you wanted to, and like they're gonna be okay. They're old enough to like you can wait for a half hour on your own. We're gonna be here getting a beer and a churro. We didn't split up in the parks with them being by themselves, but for the first time, we've never done this before, we left them in the hotel. Because Epcot and Beach Club were so close. We felt really comfortable just being like, you can just hang out in the hotel room, watch a movie, and we went into Epcot by ourselves. And that was really the first time at any Disney park, excuse me, that we had gone by ourselves. With our kids like there. McCayla, and look me in the eyes. You survived. They survived. It's okay.
First of many. First of many.
Yeah.
Totally. Oh no, it was great. It was great.
Well, as Disneyland veterans, what expectations did you bring with you to Walt Disney World? And were you confident or a little nervous about taking your kiddos for their very first visit?
Yeah, I don't know if I was nervous, but I was wondering how they would be able to, like, quote unquote, handle so many parks so spread out. You know, it's just so huge. And we did talk about that a lot. Like, it's way, way bigger than Disneyland. It's not just walk, walk, walk. And even the parks are big. So we tried to, like, you know, set up the expectation that, like, it's different. It's very, very, it's huge. It's all spread out, you know, all of that. So we try, but I was really curious how they would be able to handle it and if they would like it and if it'd be too much, you know? I think for sweet little Disneyland people, Disney World feels very, very intimidating and daunting. Just so many parks, so spread out, all of that. So maybe I was a little nervous in that and just like how we were going to handle it. But I think because we talked about it and sort of set them up and they're pretty, I don't know, they're pretty, like, they've had a lot of park experience. Like, they know that we're going to be walking a lot, you know, going from ride to ride. That can be hot sometimes, you know, so it's not like they've never done a park before. But my expectations of Disney World really were blown out of the water. Like, we had so much fun. And I know this isn't your question, but I'll just segue into, like, the boys loved it. Like, I think they're Walt Disney World kids now.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was like their, like, favorite rides that have been their favorite rides their whole life. Slowly got, like, bumped down. And, like, oh, that was my favorite ride that I've ever been on. It's like, oh, more than, you know, Rise of the Resistance? Yes, for sure. So it was just like, it was really, really fun to see them so excited and how much they loved it. So yeah, they're, I guess, Disney World kids now, I guess.
Are you going to be okay with that as the Disneyland person?
Yeah, I'll be okay with that. I was sort of like thinking, you know, we've been back for a couple weeks now. And I find myself, it's a very similar feeling to when we first came back from our first Disneyland trip, where I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was just kind of dreaming about it, looking at pictures, you know, just being like, oh, it was so fun. And I had a very similar experience after coming back from Tokyo Disney Resort as well, where I'm just kind of like feeling very nostalgic about it. And I feel that way for sure about Disney World too. Like, and I was not expecting that. I was expecting it to be like, we went to Disney World, that was fun, cool. But it really, like, it's got its own magic there. Like, it really, really does. It's not as much of a machine as I kind of, you know, thinking like Disneyland's the original sweet, you know. It's got the magic where Disney World's the big, you know, business. I don't know but you know.
You're not wrong, though. I mean, the scale is different. The number of people, the number of meals they are serving each day, it is different. You know, one of my best friends used to be in food and bev in Florida and was on the purchasing side for a while. And I remember him telling me, I'm going to get the exact numbers wrong, but like they have, I think it was like 7 like full-size tractor trailer trucks of just refrigerated stuff comes into their distribution center there behind Magic Kingdom like every day. And I think that maybe it was just frozen stuff, like just frozen stuff. And then like every restaurant like goes through about a truckload of stuff every day. It is a different scale from California.
That's it's a different scale for sure. But it and I wanted to talk to, and I'm sorry, you guys have your own questions, but I have a question for you. Like something that I was thinking through is that there's something about Disney World I think that they just, do better. And I wonder if it's because it's more of a tourist attraction than Disneyland. To me feels maybe more quaint, more local, like a locals park. Where Disney World is like a tourist destination, and I really feel like it requires them to be better at hospitality, better at thinking about the tourist, really, maybe more than Disneyland does. And I'm not saying this because I'm trying to diss on Disneyland, but they just they're their level of hospitality was a lot greater. And I also wonder too if it has to do with the college program. I was thinking about that too. Like, you've got a huge group of people who are
fresh out of they're fresh out of the traditions and stuff, right? They just learned everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what they're passionate about. They're passionate about Disney. They're passionate about the corporation and being a part of it. And I don't know, like, it had a different vibe there that I really liked.
Yeah. I think you're nailing on all of the things. What I boil it down to, at least for me, is Disney World has a more explicit bubble around it. And like for us, when we cross under the Welcome to Disney World sign, the big, huge arch across like 4 or 5 lanes of traffic, like our blood pressure drops by 20 points.
We have a visceral reaction to that every single time. It's just like,
and you don't get that feeling in Anaheim.
Yeah,
you are
that's
very
true.
much still in the city of Anaheim.
Yeah. Just walking back to your hotel, you leave the bubble the second you leave the Esplanade.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
And so
you're right.
that's not a knock against Disneyland, or it's not, there are still opportunities for improvement for hospitality and things and all the rest of those things in Florida. But I had never thought about it. I think the Disney College program can be a game changer from a hospitality perspective. Now, there's a balance because you have a bunch of young kids. You go to a park after probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and pretty much everybody you're going to interact with, with the outside of some of the leads, are DCP college age kids, and they've been there for maybe 6 months if you're lucky. And so there's challenges with that, but on the other hand, like all of those kids, they're kids, we're old, have they are passionate and have wanted to be there. And whether they're in a janitorial role, or they're, in merch or food or running a ride, they're all living their dream.
Friends with Alicia. Friends with.
I know better.
Yeah, you're right. They're living their dream. Versus, I feel like at Disney, and I feel like you should cut all of this because I feel like I'm going to regret it all. But I do feel like at Disneyland, it's more often than not, it's like it's somebody's job, and you can feel it. However, at Disneyland, you've got the people who've been there a long time, who this is, you might even see Bob Goff wandering around, and that is very special. And that's unique to Disneyland.
I will say that I think, we were joking about it, I think, before we hit the record button. The pandemic, I actually think, materially changed that vibe in Disneyland, because I remember going to Disneyland pre-pandemic, and I never really had the feeling of that difference in the bubble feeling. Like, I could still get entrenched in the bubble and the hospitality and it didn't feel like anybody who was there at Disney in California was just doing their job. And I think having those parks closed for, was it 13, 15 months, like whatever it ended up being in California.
Maybe, a little hiccup.
Like in Florida, it was like a couple months. And
a little longer than that, but
2 or 3 months. It wasn't
significantly different.
Yes,
Florida was back open in June, if I remember correctly. Now, it was limited capacity, and there's all the masking stuff, and it wasn't the same.
But they got to it a lot quicker.
They got back to it a lot quicker.
Because it was Florida.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
And
and that's true. That could have affected, that thread line of.
I think it. Unfortunately, even for people who were Disney cast members before the pandemic and after in California, I think it drove a bit of a wedge in terms of saying, like, I am a Disney cast member. This is my identity. And I love everything about the company and all the rest of that stuff. And I live this lifestyle. And this is, really closely tied to who I am. Frankly, this is a job. and
Yeah.
I had to have some other temporary job to make ends meet. I'm happy to be back, but it's like we feel in big tech and corporate America these days. It's just a job. There's no loyalty from the company anymore.
Yeah, totally. And it is just their job.
Yeah.
And I will regret saying what I said. Like, they're acting like it's just their job. It's like, oh my God, well, it is just their job. But I think it's just the vibe and the feeling.
Yeah.
That I could tell there was a difference.
I'm going to disagree a little bit here, just because we've also seen other theme parks and how team members are at other theme parks. I still think Disney has that on lock.
100%.
At both parks. I don't notice as much of a difference. Maybe they're not as super enthusiastic as they are in Disney World, but I still get the very much of the we're here to take care of you. I still get that at Disneyland. I know not everybody's going to be like that, but
yeah, I mean, and you're going to find people in Florida who are having a bad day or or whatever. Sure. Like it happens. When we were there a few weeks ago, because ironically we were in California at the same time you guys were in Florida, McCayla.
Yeah, I know, that was so fun.
We should have called each other from the castle.
Right, we should have. There were more instances where there was less magic coming off of. I think most of it was food and beverage folks.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say we had so much more dining experiences at Disney World than we normally do at Disneyland. We don't, and we're not usually in Disneyland for like a week.
Right.
So I have to take that into consideration that we were just in Disney World for a significantly longer time than we usually are. And we had more dining experiences and like more elevated, nicer dining experiences than maybe we usually do. So I have to take that into consideration. But I agree that I saw it specifically in the dining, the hosts, it felt very Disney cruise almost level of service in some places. Topolino's, am I saying that? Topolino's?
Yep.
Especially felt like we could customize our order and we could, it felt very guest friendly. Anyway, so I have to admit, there's probably a lot of factors in that makes it feel that different. But it was dining, I think, specifically that I was just like, they are taking this really seriously and just very on it.
For me, that level of interaction, that like DCL, like Paulo, Remy level of, like when we were at Napa Rose, like it was there. Like what's coming to mind is just some of the interactions and some of like the, it's not like cast members aren't allowed to talk to each other, but like there were several times where cast members like at a bar, like a big service bar over in Pim's or like somewhere else were just
Pim.
Sure, whatever. Tomato.
Pim Kitchen. Pim Test Kitchen. No, it's the side one. Whatever's the side one.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm never being invited back. That's fine.
The drink lab, that one. They were just going through the motions and doing
They
tickets.
were also slammed, Nathan.
Right.
They were slammed. There was no time for them to chat with anybody. It was like, I could see the counters like 50 tickets in a row. Like, hi, bye. Yeah.
But I had but there were some other interactions that I noticed over in San Francisco that were just, did I pronounce that one right? I don't know. It's a different level from what I have experienced in the past.
Yeah. There's more at Disney. There's just more elevated dining experiences at Disney World. So I think just mathematically, you're going to be hitting a nicer... There's just a lot of Napa Roses type things at Disney World, where at Disneyland, there's not a lot.
Yeah. How many signature dining places are in California? Like
none.
You've got Napa Rose.
Is the steakhouse?
Yeah.
I don't even think that's even...
That doesn't exist anymore.
It's not even there anymore. Yeah. But is there a lounge?
There is a lounge there.
Yeah, it's the Spellbound Lounge.
I think it's just Napa Rose, right?
Blue Bayou could maybe be considered that, but I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't.
I don't know that's signature. It is.
No.
But there's one or two
level,
signature dining places in all of the resorts, like every single deluxe resort has a signature dining restaurant, plus a regular restaurant at least, plus a quick serve.
More,
there are signature dining places inside most of the parks in Florida. Be Our Guest or Tiffin's in Animal Kingdom. Like there's a lot more stuff going on.
Carthay Circle.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So it's to your point, there are probably more opportunities for you to stumble into that elevated level of service in Florida than there are in California. And so maybe that's coloring our perceptions as well.
Maybe.
I think we got down to it.
There we go.
We figured it out.
I do want to interject something about Topolino's though, because we have had amazing experiences there. And there was one dinner where Sterling had said that they were interested in being a cast member. And I think Sterling was like maybe 9 or 10 at the time. And they literally took him aside, made a name tag for him.
Yeah.
And he took our order or something. He did something. He either gave us the plates and silverware, and like the head of the restaurant came out and talked with him and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Totally unexpected. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah. There it is. There it is right there. Yeah. We picked that one specifically because my boys are a little bit out of the age of like character dining, and they're like hit or miss where if they even want to take pictures with characters, But I did want to have some sort of character experience, and I just heard that the food was really good, and it was definitely delivered on the food. But it felt more like just like a nicer character dining. Like didn't feel as like in your face, like this is a character.
Yeah. We've got to do that one again. The last time we did character dining there was during the pandemic, and it was the distance character interactions, and we were in a spot where they didn't really come to. And
and when you go back, you have to try for dinner there.
Oh,
it's
dinner's
very good.
insane.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna reel us back in here off of our first tangent. What was the first big Disney World moment for your kiddos?
Ooh, great question.
McCayla, they're all great questions.
Yeah, you're right. It also just gives me a minute to think about it because, well, I would say that Animal Kingdom was our first night. And so, but we weren't really at a park yet. But even just being at Animal Kingdom felt very special. I don't know if that was really the Disney World moment until maybe like Expedition Everest, where like we went on the ride and the boys came off, and that was the first time that they said that's my favorite ride. That was the first, and then it was Tron, and then it was Cosmic Rewind, but that was the first where it was like that was my favorite ride. That was so fun, and like wanting to do it again. But that still didn't feel like a Walt Disney World moment. I think, so I guess maybe then jumping ahead, I'm kind of rambling because I'm just thinking it through, but Magic Kingdom for our first time there, when we came around and my youngest said, I'm getting goosebumps. And then the other one was just like, the castle's so big. And just sort of just like the scale of Magic Kingdom, because it's probably the one that's most comparative to our experience in Disneyland, where Animal Kingdom it didn't feel like Disney World, only because it didn't feel like it was something completely new and different. But then going to Magic Kingdom felt like, oh, we're in an elevated Disney park, and elevated in a different way. I don't mean better, but I just mean like just sort of elevated.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah. So yeah, that might have been like our, first Disney World. That castle is big.
Yeah. What surprised you most about their reactions, for the week or so that you were there?
I knew that they would like it. I knew that they'd have fun, but I was surprised, and I'm sort of touched on this before. I was surprised how much they loved it. I was surprised how much they were like I said, they turned into like Disney World kids. Like they loved the ride so much. Tron, they both really, really, really loved Tron. And for Tron, we were told that it was not going to open until like the official opening time. So we were there for early entry, and we were just going to go get in line during early entry. And then, because there actually wasn't much in Magic Kingdom rides wise that we're like, we have to do, because there was so much that's like a repeat.
Yeah.
We're like, we don't have to do Pirates of the Caribbean. We don't have to,
No, in fact, a lot of those are the worst version of those two things. Yep. You got the better ones in California anyway, so.
Yeah. So there was a lot we felt like we didn't have to do. So that helped sort of diminish the sort of like the stress of like, we have to do so many rides. Yeah. So we're like, we're fine to just like wait in line during early entry so that we can get on right when it opens. They started running that ride at like 5 minutes into early entry. Oh, wow. So it was a huge surprise. It was very exciting. So we got on, we only had to wait like 10 minutes, got on, their minds were blown. And then we got out of the ride before official opening had started. So there wasn't really any lines up. And so we just went on again and had like a 5-minute wait and got to do it 2 times. Those are the things that I feel like really excite my kids when they get to, it's almost like they get us like secret access. Yeah. Like we were not expecting we get to do it twice and we get to do it twice. And so that was probably the first time, that was our second park day where it was just like we hit like a high, really felt so fun and exciting.
We had something like that happen in one of our first Disney, I think it was our second Disney World trip with Caitlin. She must have been like 5.5 or so. And there was a cold snap. We had just gotten off a cruise and like there was nobody in the parks. And we ended up being able to like ride Big Thunder, I think like 3 times in a row. And I think 2 of them, they didn't even make us get out of the train.
Yeah. Nice.
And then like after that, she's like, now let's go do Space Mountain. And we did like Space Mountain twice in a row. We didn't have to get out of the train. And I was like, at the end of that, I was finally like, Caitlin, I'm ready to be done with the
Nice. I love that when it feels like the park is all yours.
Yeah.
That feels really special.
Yep. So did your Disneyland instincts help you or trip you up at all?
I think they helped in a lot of the general ways, like go in with, a general plan, but don't plan down to the minute. Use the app and the app is pretty much, very similar, and like mobile ordering and so going in with sort of general understandings of how a park works and strategies and I think really helped. And like the managing expectation stuff, like we're not going to do it all. What is it really that we want to do that we'll focus on? And I don't know if this is before we started recording or not, but mentioning that our family isn't really huge on like parades and fireworks and entertainment. I love it, but the family as a whole, it's not really a huge priority. So it's like, if we catch it, great. If we don't. So I think that helps, again, going into the day, sort of knowing what is it that's really important to us. And let's just focus on that and not worry about everything else. So that helped us a lot. I think where it does not help me is that Magic Kingdom, especially because it feels so much like Disneyland, but it's not, it gets me really turned around especially in like Adventureland, Frontierland, over in that area, I get so lost. And Epcot too, where there's just all these little like pathways.
Yes.
Too many pathways. Not like the World Showcase, that's pretty straightforward, but over in like near Spaceship Earth and like the Figment area, like all of that, it's just like, I don't know, there's too many pathways and I get lost. But I think especially in Magic Kingdom, I think I know where I'm going, and that's what sort of trips me. And like Tomorrowland is huge.
Yes.
They have a superior Tomorrowland, that's for sure. But that kind of trips me up, where I feel confident and then I'm not at all.
Yeah. Tomorrowland's the one that always gets me, because I'm always like, oh, it's right. Nope. That is not where that is.
Yep. Do you feel the opposite? Do you feel more comfortable in Disney World or Disneyland? Like, which one is the one that you kind of default to, like just comfort wise?
our first day, no matter what park we're in, if it's Magic Kingdom or Disneyland, we get tripped up.
Yep.
Okay,
It doesn't matter.
It's just sort of the transition.
Yeah, it's just we have to remember which one we're at. Because I think we're comfortable in both of them, but our brain has to reset. And it doesn't do that until our first, wait, no, it's the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And then when you're back at the other one, then it's like a change.
Right. Yeah. So like
that makes sense.
June is going to be horrible because we will have been in Disneyland like 2 months before, and then we'll walk into Magic Kingdom and go like, hey, what? Where?
Are we even going to Magic Kingdom?
I don't know. Maybe.
We haven't planned
We haven't planned.
park days yet.
No.
Yeah, which I'm curious to hear about how you guys plan your park days, because when we're in Disneyland, 3 days is sort of our magic number for our family. When we go to Disneyland is 3 park days, and we had 5 park days to work with at Disney World, which is great because there's more parks
Yep.
and you need more time, but it was a lot of park days. Like just we went into it knowing we're not going to be able to do early entry every day, extended hours every time we can, like we're going to have to really pace ourselves. And we did. Like we did much shorter park days and kind of to help it make a little bit more chill, but it was still a lot of park days. Yeah. So I'm curious, like when you're saying like you're planning for your Disney World trip, like do you have sort of a set amount of park days that you're that you like to work with? Like, we can do like about this many park days and then we'll kind of see what parks we want to do in those days? Or
I think it's changed as we've gotten older and the kids have matured and what they're interested in has changed.
Sure, yeah.
And we're in I think we were having a little bit of this conversation before we hit record, so I don't think I'm repeating myself, but like we are in a really privileged situation where we can go to the parks a lot. And so our level of need and desire to knock out like everything is just different from what I think a lot of families experience. When we first started going, when Caitlin was young, like, we're going to try to maximize how much time we're spending in the park.
It was open to close.
Yeah, absolutely.
We did many of those.
Nowadays, honestly, Alicia and I have truly like become Disney adults. We're going for the vibes. And if we do a few rides in a day, great. But we're like just soaking up the atmosphere and enjoying the details that Imagineering has put into the parks and the decor and being exceptionally well taken care of by all the cast members in either park, in either resort, whether we're in California or Florida. We're just there to enjoy. Like it is our happy place. I view it as a rather expensive cover charge to get into a really amazing place, and we'll jump around and do whatever we want. We'll go do some stuff in the morning and then back to the resort, or go somewhere else and do a meal, and then back to maybe a different resort in the evening to do a few things. Like we don't really have a huge agenda. Now for June, we have a couple things that we know we want to do. Yeah. Biggest thing on the itinerary is spending the day at Epcot for Caitlin, because her big ask when she turned 21, that's right, she's 21, mind blown.
Is she going to drink around the world?
Yes, she wants to go drinking around the world.
Oh my gosh. Baby Caitlin.
Yes.
Wow.
The crab walk Caitlin in the back of the worship center as we're playing in the band is now. Yeah. She sent us a picture last night. I didn't even know she was in town from Bellingham. She and a couple of her friends drove down, went to the Mariners game, and she's like exercising my adult privilege and had like this big, like tall boy, like cider can. I'm like, you go. She's like, but it's $15. I'm like, welcome to adulthood.
Yes.
Wow. Oh my gosh. She's grown. She was at the Mariners game last
night?
Oh.
Yeah. I told her she didn't root hard enough.
My youngest was there.
Oh, cool.
For a birthday party.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's just Epcot's a priority. We know we're doing, we have a Moonlight Magic, DVC Moonlight Magic at
Typhoon Lagoon. We've never been to a Disney water park before.
Oh, that's
So like that's like an evening. What are we doing during? I don't know what we're doing that day. The cool thing is we have APs again for Florida. So we just got those.
I was curious about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not really too worried about like
No.
park tickets.
Exactly.
We'll kind of figure it out as we go. I think when we do trips, I think it's more important now to have a resort day.
Yes.
In the middle of stuff.
That's absolutely come into our planning, is that we'll do a resort day, and like we'll do a couple park days, and then there's a resort day, or we're gonna spend a day or two hanging out with our friends at their place that's off property, or we'll go down to Cape Canaveral and the Kennedy Space Center and
we did that.
Yeah. So like there are so many other things to do in the area, especially for us, because like our predominant friend group is in the area. Like that's factoring into it as well. We have a super comfy and great place to stay the evenings, and maybe we're in a park that day and maybe we're not. If we could get rid of the park reservation concept like holistically, I'd be a lot happier. But even in Florida with an AP, I show up at 2:00 or after in any park without a reservation and I'm good to go. So
it's not a big deal. Yeah, that's the one thing that I did miss, and what we usually do is have a resort day or an off day. And, and that's something, as, when people ask me about Disneyland planning, I'm always like, build in an off day, it's so, so important. And we didn't do that only because we didn't want to spend 12 days in Florida because of, if we have like 5 park days and we did want to do the Kennedy Space Center, we did want to go to the beach. Those were priorities for us. So we just couldn't make the trip that long. Yeah. But we felt it. We felt it for sure. And that's why we tried to just do like, we're going to do a little bit in the morning and a little bit at night. And like, similar to what you're saying, we felt very privileged because they were gifted tickets that it felt a little different because we didn't feel the highest pressure to maximize. And so that was a privilege. So we could do that. But I missed those resort days are so nice.
Yeah. That's where Disney's hospitality really shines through, is if you're taking a resort day, like you're having a really good day. Yeah,
you're having a great day, especially if you picked the beach club and you've got a little mini water park and you could just like pop into Epcot for we did that one day where we had just did a few hours in Epcot, but most of the day was like we did Topolino's that day and pool, so it felt a little bit like a resort day, but we felt it at the end. We're like, that was a lot of park.
I'll say we have not stayed at Beach Club before. We have stayed at Boardwalk just across the way.
We were very intrigued by Boardwalk.
Well, we're very intrigued by Beach Club, so there.
Okay, well, across the lake, being very envious of each other.
And when we stayed at Boardwalk, it was before the renovation too. So I know it's changed a bit.
Yeah. Oh no, we'll have to go back.
Yeah, but Jelly Rolls isn't there anymore. So
what is Jelly Rolls?
Yeah. It was R.I.P.
It's a dueling piano bar.
Oh, fun. Yeah. That's up your guys' alley.
100%.
Did your Disneyland strategies translate to Disney World, or did they require adjustments at all?
I think what was really helpful is that we were not park naive, like Disney park naive. And like I said before, like there was a lot we could just be like, we don't need to do a whole bunch of stuff that maybe if you had never been to a Disney park before, you would want to do, some of those classic Fantasyland rides or, so there's just a lot of stuff that we were like, we're good. We don't need to do. So the strategy was really, let's experience the things that we wouldn't be able to experience at Disneyland. And that to us was like Animal Kingdom was a priority. Yeah. Epcot was a priority. And then we really didn't spend as much time at Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios.
Okay.
A lot at Hollywood Studios. I thought, we don't even need to go to Galaxy's Edge. We don't even need to go to like like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. We ended up doing all of that because because the park is very small and
a lot of
we
stuff's
had time
closed.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Aerosmith's clothes. So it lent itself to that we ended up doing it, but it was not our priority.
Yeah.
So it was a different strategy because we were just trying to hit the stuff that we don't have.
Yeah. One of the things that is kind of unique to Florida, at least more unique to Florida, there's several of these in California, but at least when we're talking like Magic Kingdom versus Disneyland, like there's lounges in Florida now in Magic Kingdom. So like Beak and Barrel, like did you get a chance to go there?
We did, and we went hard on our dining reservations. We don't really make as many dining reservations as we usually like. We don't usually make this many dining reservations, but we went really hard only because there was so much that we wanted to try. There's just so much more dining, as we've discussed. And so we were excited and intrigued by Beak and Barrel. It's fairly new. The pirate theme, it's felt like, oh, that sounds like it's part of, it's up our alley.
Yeah.
When I made our reservation, the entertainment schedule hadn't been released yet. And so I made the reservation right at the same time that the parade was happening, the Starlight Parade. And I really kind of wanted to see the Starlight Parade.
Yeah.
And my family would have come along too. They're not, like I said, huge parade people, but they would have come.
They would have
and I
humored
tried
you.
to change they would have humored me.
Yeah.
We all get a say in our vacation. And I tried to change the reservation, but I couldn't. And so I was I think I was getting sick. I had a really bad sore throat. I thought it was because of Cosmic Rewind and me screaming on it, but I did just get sick. And so I had a sore throat and I was feeling grumpy. So all of that to say, I went in with I was kind of grumpy, but I didn't love it. It had a very like Oga's Cantina, Trader Sam's vibe, and I like those places. But we got crammed in a booth with like other people, and I don't love that. I'm kind of an introvert. I don't love just chatting with other people. Although one of the people at our tables worked on Righteous Gemstones. Have you guys watched that show on HBO?
I've seen about it, but I haven't watched it.
It's very funny. So we had a fun conversation about that. But otherwise, I didn't really want to talk to people. And there was a lot of action, like at Trader Sam's, there's like fun things that happen throughout your time there. We were at a place you couldn't really see any of the action. Like things were happening up at the bar, but we couldn't see it. I was a little cranky about it. So that was like the one thing that like I would have not done. I would have probably picked the parade, but you don't know. You really don't know. And it could have, we tried it and it was okay. It was fine. And so I think that's just one of those things that like with any trip, Disneyland, Disney World, anywhere you go on vacation, it's like things might not meet your expectations, and we moved on, and it was fine. I moved on. It was a personal problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and some of those things were like there's a lot of hype. I think, especially when something's new and a lot of people are talking about it. I think maybe my expectations get too high.
Yeah. Did you have any assumptions about your reactions or your kids' reactions about Florida that were like spot on and that came true? And more interestingly, maybe any assumptions that you had going in that were just like absolutely wrong?
Florida, like the state, or
no, I mean
Disney World?
We're not talking about Florida, the state.
We could go down that tangent. That would be fun. Okay. We didn't really spend too much time in like Florida proper.
Yeah.
We were in the bubble most of the time, but yeah, I think both. Like I assumed it was huge and it would be, the transportation would take a long time to get one place to another place. That's true. Like it did. We had to wait for a bus to go to Magic Kingdom in the morning for like a half an hour. And I had known that, so we had planned, it worked out okay, but it did add a little bit of like, oh geez, I don't like just sitting around waiting to go to the park, where for Disneyland we're used to just like when we're ready to go, we're there, you know, you're not waiting on anything.
Yeah.
The other assumption that I had wrong was that it wasn't as magical. And I feel really embarrassed to say that because it's the most magical place on earth. And and to all my friends who love Disney World, who Disney World is their special place, like I feel a little bit snobby saying that. But I do have to be honest that I was like, it's not going to be like Disneyland. Like Disneyland is magical. Like, you know, the roaming characters and like Walt walked there, you know, like just very snobby. But it was magical. Like it really was. Like there were more characters than I thought that there would be, you know, roaming around in the wild. There really, I didn't think there was going to be that many, and there were. And it has its own unique magic, and it was really special. Yeah. And it is a special place in its own way. And like the rides are top tier. Like that was so fun. And really excited our family. And like, it's just, yeah, it is a really special place. And I feel really embarrassed to say like that I wasn't expecting it to be so special. Like that's, probably should cut all of that out. But I think I need to be honest, like that it is true that I kind of went in thinking it wasn't going to be as good as Disneyland. And it's different. It's its own different magic.
Yeah.
We're going to talk some of your kids' favorites.
Okay.
What was their favorite park? And I know it could be different for each one.
Yeah. They both would say Epcot was their favorite. Okay. Cosmic Rewind was a huge highlight. The first time we rode Cosmic Rewind, there was no music.
Oh, weird.
Oh.
There was no audio at all.
Oh,
no. It took me actually a couple of solid few seconds to be like, something's different. And it was silent. It was so weird.
That's
and it was
eerie.
their first time. So about like halfway through, I started panicking. I was like, this isn't how it is. It's like, and they were having fun, and because they don't know any different.
Sure.
But then we got off, and I was like, there wasn't music. There was supposed to be music, and da-da-da. And I heard other people on the ride vehicle, tell the cast member, and they're like, oh, you didn't get audio? Okay, well, come on, we'll get you on again. And they let us go right to the front and get right back on another ride, and we got September. Awesome. So it was, and that's where I thought I got my sore throat at that. Exact, because I was screaming. I was like, September's the best. Why? And I was just like screaming. And we were so happy. And my kids were so, and that was another thing where like when we were told you get to go again, my kids' faces just went like,
yes.
Yeah. So anyway, to answer your question, Epcot, they really loved the World Showcase.
Oh,
they
awesome.
immediately said, we thought it was much smaller than we were imagining, like a building for each country. Because we explained you go through the countries.
Right.
They were like, we didn't know it was like a land for each country. So they were really impressed that it was like, you know, and we have been to Japan and Italy and Mexico. And so we've been to a few. So that was so fun to like be back. And Japan has like a store that has like magical thing like that. It felt like we just like went back to Japan. It was so fun. So yeah, they loved Epcot.
What was their favorite ride? Was it Guardians?
That's tough. So my oldest, his favorite of all time has been, since he rode it for the first time, was Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah.
And then on our first day we did Expedition Everest, and our youngest said that was my favorite. And then our oldest, whose Rise of the Resistance was his favorite, he said Flight of Passage was his favorite. Oh. So he's like, that's my favorite ride now to fly. And I actually cried on Flight of Passage. I was probably very tired, but it was like emotional. Like I was like, I'm one with nature, and like it was a beautiful, beautiful ride. Anyway. So Flight of Passage is up there. Cosmic Rewind is up there, but Tron is probably number one, I would say, for both.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough, though, my youngest, when we did Carousel of Progress, said he loved that more than Space Mountain, which I was like,
Yes.
I was shocked. I was like, okay.
It's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Yes, it is. I was like, oh, okay. And that's in his top 5. Like,
That's awesome.
constantly surprising me.
Yes. All right. Favorite overall moment for the kiddos?
Oh, man, that's really tough. I mean, they have mentioned the Cosmic Rewind thing a couple of times where they've gotten to, they got to go again.
Yeah.
I've heard them talking about that to other people. and Tron, same thing, where you got to ride it 2 times. I don't know if they would articulate this, but we did laugh a lot, like, as, and like there were a lot of times where I just like, laughed so hard that like my stomach hurt, my face hurt, like, and when we're going through life as a family day to day, we're not belly laughing all that often. I mean, we have a good amount of joy in our family, but we're not like hysterically laughing.
Yeah.
And so that was really fun to just, and I've said this before where it's like, sometimes it's not the place that I love the most. It's like the person I am when I'm there and the people that I am, that I get to be there with. Like, that's what makes it magical. And that's true. Like, I was there with my favorite people having so much fun. And we first got into, became like a reoccurring joke with our family where when we first got into Animal Kingdom, I said something like, okay, guys, just to manage everybody's expectations, this is the very boring mom I am. Just to manage everybody's expectations, we're not going to go hard on the sweets today. And my husband goes, boo! And I laughed so hard. I had to stop, and like I was like laughing so hard. And we did that throughout like a lot of the trip. When somebody would say something and be like, boo! We don't get to go on another ride. Boo! So didn't really answer your question because I don't know if they would have articulated, laughing with my family as my favorite part. But
no, but that's as a parent, you have that different perspective, and like that's super important. Now, I'm going to pivot off of that and like having, you are a Disneyland expert, according to Disney at least. And you've done Disneyland with your family. You've done Disney World now with your family. Which one works better for families? Like, what are your thoughts?
That's a tough one. And I could never in a million years make a decision of that sweeping for families.
Yeah.
Like
they're both for families.
They're both for families. I think those who are on the East Coast, like because of just traveling time, it's easiest to probably get to Disney World, or like if you're on the West Coast, so it's like just the basic, like what's more convenient to get to and to travel to. Like I think for young kids, like babies, strollers, Disney World would be really tough. Like I was thinking through that as like, as I was navigating Disney World, that I was just really grateful that I didn't have little kids.
Right.
Not that it could not be done, and not that it hasn't been done and it's not great and people do it all the time. But for me, and maybe it just is because I'm a Disneyland gal, and it was just much easier to navigate with strollers and stuff. And
well, in Disneyland, you can pack your stroller up in the morning in your room and have all your stuff ready to go. And other than getting through the security barrier, like you're good to go. Whereas in Florida, you're going to have to deal with transportation of some sort where you need to unload everything, fold the thing up, blah blah blah, and then it's just. It's just
I was noticing like, oh, it's a thing here.
Yep.
And just like the going home for a nap or going back to the hotel for a nap and things like that just feels like it would just be something you'd have to be a little bit more mindful of at Disney World. Again, not impossible, but I did really love the ages that we took to Disney World. It just felt just right.
Yeah.
But that's not to say like families should not go to Disney with little kids. Like, of course not. Like,
go where you can go.
Yeah.
That's right. That is right. Or what feels right to you, or what excites you, or, kind of make it whatever you want it. You don't have to do all the parks. Or
What's the number one thing that you would tell a Disneyland family planning for their very first Disney World trip?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about this a lot right at the end of our trip, that I wanted to bring in all my Disneyland friends in a big hug and be like, because I know a number of them that are, very, they're going to Disneyland often, once a year with their family, but have never done Disney World. And I was thinking about those families specifically, where I just wanted to bring them into like a little huddle and be like, it's so fun there. It's so fun in Disney World, and you can do it. And just kind of like not in like I'm sounding very snobby this whole time, very snobby. Not in a way of like it's better than Disneyland, but like it's just different, and like you should just try it. Like a different adventure, another place to experience a magical place that's new and different, but not as like you should definitely go to Disney World. Disneyland sucks. Of course not. Disneyland will always be my park. Like it will always be. But yeah, for those who are, a Disneyland fam looking to go to Disney World, like definitely something to consider, and for a new adventure. And to just keep in mind, and we mentioned this before, just keep in mind it is just much, much bigger. And to just keep that in mind, and either just focus on a couple of parks. And I think too, my biggest advice would be picking where you stay is maybe one of the biggest and best decisions you could. So if you know that, like for our example, like Epcot was our priority, or not our priority, but something that we knew that we were going to spend a lot of time there. The hotel being next to Epcot makes a huge difference. So like because of the transportation stuff, that will help so much if you're just in the vicinity of like, where you think you might spend the most time. Now, it's not going to work for everything, because it's like, Animal Kingdom is kind of out there, and, Magic Kingdom is a little bit, Hollywood Studios and Epcot are close together, so you could kind of, but so you will have to travel but just think about like where you're going to spend the most time, and that will help a lot. Feeling less overwhelming.
All right. So after this trip, especially given your boy's reaction, does Disney World feel like a sometimes trip, or something that you're going to add into the regular rotation?
That's a great question. And this is probably the question for my husband, because my husband is the one who, like, he's like a Disney, once a year Disney thing. That's his sort of cadence. And so I do have a Disney World trip planned for myself in November. We're having our PlanDisney reunion, which I'm very excited about.
Nice.
So I think I'll get to go, like, maybe more often, which will be fun for me, and we'll scratch that itch, and will be really special. As a family, that's a really great question, and I don't know if we have the answers to that yet. Like, in what sort of rotation are we now going to be putting in Disney World and Disneyland? We don't have Disneyland on the docket right now of like, exactly when we would go, nor do we have Disney World as a family. So we have other things, but they're a surprise, and there might be listening ears, and I don't want to say.
We're familiar with it.
It's a surprise. So yeah, I'm excited to see. I don't know. We'll see. I don't foresee it being like we're only gonna do now one or the other. I could see it being like, I could see us working them both in somehow.
Yeah. I mean, we're proof positive it is possible to live in the Seattle area and be a bi-coastal Disney family.
And cruise. And Aulani. It's
and
just
all the things.
We just haven't added international to our stuff yet.
Oh.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yes. I said yet.
One of us has been to Paris.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. We can't say we haven't been internationally.
McCayla's been to Tokyo. I'm the loser here. Think about me. I feel horrible.
Couple years.
I feel so sad for you.
Thank you.
Sad.
Thank
so
you, McCayla.
sad. What
Somebody
a sad
understands.
life you have. Japan is so easy to get to from Seattle. Like, it's just like,
I think we're hitting Paris before we hit Japan.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Okay. Well,
Well,
I mean,
we
I've
have
never been to Disneyland Paris, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but Tokyo Disneyland is pretty sparkly.
Yes, that'll be for Sterling's graduation.
Yes.
I think.
Yay, so it's on the horizon.
It's on the horizon.
Yes.
It's on the
Yay.
horizon. And then we have big birthdays ending
Yeah.
in 0 coming up in the next couple years. So
My 50th will be Paris.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you have some things
We have stuff
you don't
planned.
need to.
We're like you.
Yeah,
We
you're-
plan out. We plan way out.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Same with us. We're well, me. I like having sort of like what's our next few years going to look like,
Yeah.
and I do think it actually probably has a lot to do with just my anxiety and my panic of my kids. Like we only have like I don't know 6 more spring breaks with them until they go to college, and you still vacation with Caitlin, so it's not like
Yeah.
it's going to be over with, but for some
Yeah.
reason I feel like those are my years that I get.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah,
just
no,
like disappearing.
It was hard our first Disney trip without Caitlin and with Sterling. It was like, sorry. I mean,
Yeah.
it
It's
sucks.
a different vibe.
It's hard. Yeah.
And then like you start, depending on the situation and whether your kiddo says like, Disney's becoming boring because you guys take me too much. Now we're just like, I don't know. We only have a handful of spring breaks left, and then we can do whatever the heck we want.
Yep.
And you don't have to come with us. Bye-bye. So
Yeah, that'll be a whole new world.
Yeah.
Whole different ball game. So I think that's where I'm like thinking through or I'm like looking at it through a lens of like, what do I want to experience with my kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
not so much like where do I need to go? What do I need to see in the world? Because there's so many places that I
Yes.
want to go and I want to see. But I really want to prioritize these next few years of what will be the places that as a family,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
them at different ages would appreciate, and like that's what I want to prioritize in the
Yeah.
next few years. So
Well, McCayla, we've already, subjected you to Alicia's patented Disney torture test, but we do have a lightning round for you. So,
It was your favorites. Nathan likes to call it torture. It is not.
okay, got it. All right, I lived through it, I guess.
Yes.
you did. All right. So, a new lightning round. Here it is for you. Alicia, take it
no.
away.
All right. Rope drop or late night?
Ooh. Okay, so we've always been like a rope drop because my, kids waking up super, super early. But this trip, actually, they preferred to more, and it's probably just them getting older, but like sleeping in more and like taking advantage of those like extended hours, which are amazing.
Yes.
At Disney World, like the Magic Kingdom and Epcot, we got to do extended hours, and that was so fun.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe we're a little bit of both.
All right. Magic Kingdom or Disneyland?
Stop.
Maybe it
Don't
is a little
you
bit of a
dare.
torture test.
That is a torture test. I mean, I will always say Disneyland. I'll always say Disneyland because that's where Walt walked.
Yeah. True.
I just hearing me say that makes me cringe. It's true. It's true, and I do feel that way, but it makes me cringe.
Disney transportation or rental car?
Oh, Disney transportation. So we didn't have a car. So I guess maybe I can't compare because we just didn't do a car. I could
Yeah.
see how it could be really convenient, but we made the transportation work.
Nice.
And it was free.
Yeah. Well, prepaid. Well, no. Yours was yours was
inclusive.
included. Yeah. A snack that you are still thinking about.
Ooh. The bread service at from Sanaa.
Yes.
We got it for a takeout on the very, very first. It was the first meal, first night. I went over to get takeout, and we brought it back to the pool. And that was probably that moment of like, we're here. I'm so excited. And it was so good, and all the little dips, and we just went hard on it. We were just like all in there, all our hands, and like just at the pool. It was a vibe. And like knowing we had a park reservation for Animal Kingdom the next day just felt so exciting. So yeah, but the bread service was so good.
Nice.
One moment that you wish you could relive.
Oh, all of them. except for screaming at each other in the hotel room. I mean, we can, it's not all magic. Yeah, the walking into Magic Kingdom for the first time was really sweet.
Yeah.
And just that Disney magic feeling of like, you know, my kid got goosebumps, for heaven's sake. Like, that's just like, yeah. And those laughing moments, like, just like belly laughs. We did Ohana for dinner, and we took the boat over to Magic Kingdom. And being on the boat felt really just relaxing and peaceful, and like looking over at my boys with my husband and just being like, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
That, just like a real quiet like moment of just like, yeah, this is good stuff.
Not the ferry, the friendship boats, right?
Yeah, the friendship boats.
Okay.
Yeah, not the ferry. I did not have a magical feeling.
You never know.
I have had a magical ferry ride before.
You have.
Because I was going back. I forget what I had to do. I think it was dropping Dad off.
Yeah, it was dropping your folks off or during the Very Merry.
Yes. And I came back and we had a rental car, and I took the ferry back over from the TTC, and I was the only person on board. I got a big shout out welcome from the captain. I got a personalized safety briefing. It was incredible.
Your dream come true.
It was fantastic.
Passenger one.
Yes. One of one.
Passenger only. Yep.
It was great.
All right. We may have touched on this already, but one thing your kids are still talking about.
Yeah, Tron. That's kind of a broken record. I was not expecting them to like Tron so much. And I liked it when I wrote it for the first time. I wrote it last year for the first time, and I liked it, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, blown away. And they were pretty blown away.
Did you hit one of my favorite rides, the People Mover?
Yes. Yes. Love the People Mover. I want that to come back to Disneyland so bad.
It's still kind of there. They never really completely ripped it out. So
Well, they changed it to a couple other things, but yeah.
I didn't know you'd go into Space Mountain. That was fun. Spoiler alert.
We've gone in when the lights were on in Space Mountain before, too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I've never seen Space Mountain with the lights on, ever.
It gives you a whole new appreciation for duck.
Yes.
Just like, yeah, I never raise my hands on Space Mountain anymore.
I know. I do this. And I'm like, what am I doing? Put your hands down.
All right, last question. If you had 30 seconds to convince another Disneyland family to try Walt Disney World, what would you say?
That if you love Disneyland, and Disneyland is a special place, Disney World is going to be its own special magical place. And it's like magic you haven't discovered yet. And what's better than that? You know, something else to discover with your loved ones. That's what you love, but just in a different way.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I love that. Well said.
Okay. Well, you didn't give me those questions ahead of time. I could have come up with a much better articulate
That's
answer.
Much less fun.
Much less fun. Okay. For me.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. Well, you've started doing some new stuff online recently.
Nathan.
You're kind of scratching that I need to write about Disney more itch.
I do. Yes.
And I think I saw a podcast get spun up. You want to share
I
a little bit more?
We got a little competition. Joke. Yes, I'm very excited. I started with a racing heart and shaky hands, like for real. That's not even just exaggerating. I was very anxious about starting it. Putting yourself out there is a big deal. So I started a Substack because I just wanted to write more, and I wanted to write about, you know, a lot of what we've been talking about, like experiencing things with your family, you know, before they leave the nest, and like what does that look like, and the different places and things to do as a family, from Disney parks to national parks. I wanted to sort of expand. I mean, it is mostly Disney related, the content, but just wanted to talk more about what else is out there and experience with with family. So, and just to inspire, like it's really, I am not an expert, nor am I cool. So it's not like, it's not a place to come to see a cool person doing cool things who knows a lot about a lot of things. I don't, but it's just a mom who wants to experience things with her family and share that with others, and encourage others to take maybe a step that maybe they hadn't thought about taking. Yeah. So yeah, it's the Mick and Mouse Club on Substack. And yeah, I would love to have anybody who wants to join. I kind of think of it as just like, it's just a couple friends chatting and dreaming. You know, it's not me just telling anybody what to do or anything. It's just picture it, just friends chatting.
Cool.
Well, McCayla, you're cool to us.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks. That's very kind. But you know what I mean. Like on the internet, like there's so many cool people who know a lot about a lot of stuff. The imposter syndrome is so real. I mean, like, and yeah, you mentioned podcast. Like, definitely would not call it a podcast, but it's recording things and putting them online. But definitely not to the level of...
I think that's what a podcast is.
I know, but it feels like a very baby podcast because, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
That's how it begins.
Yeah, for sure. So just, I love it. I love talking with people. I love chatting about stuff. So, yeah, and thank you guys for being a part of it. I really appreciate your guys' support, and you're the best. And yeah, it means a lot. So thank you.
Oh, shucks. Mick and Mouse Club. Is mickandmouseclub.substack.com?
Yeah, that's a great question. I knew you were going to ask me this, but you had a great idea recently about just putting everything on Linktree.
Yeah.
So all of my, my Instagram, my Substack is all on Linktree, which is Linktree, mick.and.mouse.club.
There you go. We'll link to all that stuff in the show notes too. So.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's a lot of period. I don't know why I had to have all those periods, because then it makes it harder to share it audibly.
We'll have to talk to you about search engine optimization. And I don't know about that. I just do a thing, and if people find it, great. If they don't, they're lost. Okay too. Yeah. McCayla, thank you so much. I think at this point,
thank you so much.
Your gold jacket is in the mail.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. This is what I've been dreaming and waiting for. Really, the only reason why I'm doing this is I was hoping that some sort of 5-timers club gift would be happening.
Love it.
I love my time with you guys. Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us. It was so wonderful to reconnect with McCayla. She's good people, y'all.
Yes.
Linktree/mick.and.mouse.club rolls right off the tongue. Third time trying to say that. Anyhow, Mick and Mouse Club. McCayla's awesome. Just give her a follow, and you'll learn some really, really good stuff. And with that, please do remember, we are not affiliated with Disney or their subsidiaries. These are personal opinions and suggestions based on our and our guests' own experiences. But we are affiliated with fun, snacks, and questionable decisions.
And bi-coastal Disney visits. We recommend working with a travel advisor or contacting Disney directly to plan your own perfect vacation. And if you love this episode, please give us a rating and review. It really helps other Disney fans find us.
If you have questions or suggestions or would like to be interviewed on our show to share your Disney experiences, please send an email to podcast@ourmousecapades.com.
You can follow us. We are at Our Mousecapades on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and YouTube. And please do share us with your friends and family.
Thanks for listening. We'll be in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.